Okay guys, this is going to be a part 1 video on kind of going through the process of laying out this truss. I've recorded these once before. I'm going to record them a second time, try to make them a little bit faster for you guys, because I think the first time I was a little bit slow. So the first thing I want you to do when you get your sheet of paper is I want you to find the top of this E right here. Then I want you to take a ruler, go to the paper, line up, and split that E all the way down through the paper, just like this. Chop the whole thing in half, okay? What that's gonna do is that's gonna represent the center point of your truss, okay? You could go through and count all these and then divide by 2. That's what I did to find this. But that is the center point, right? So from there, we can start to work ourselves out, work ourselves towards the edges. Some things we wanna think about, okay? We really want to make sure we have a piece of wood in this area right here and in this area right here, right? Because the bridge abutments, the things the bridge sits on, are going to be 3/8 of an inch in from this edge and 3/8 of an inch in from this edge. That also means the bridge should not be longer than this box. It's got to stay in between here and here, okay? So obviously kind of one of the most basic things we can do is just put a piece of wood all the way along the bottom. I actually have to go grab a piece of wood. I forgot. So essentially, we're gonna have a long piece of wood going all the way along the bottom of our design. Now we're just designing this, and you're gonna design 3 bridges before you even are allowed to get a piece of wood. So, but just something to be aware of, piece of wood all the way along the bottom. Piece of wood comes in 2 orientations. In this direction, it is a 1/4 inch tall. In this direction, it is 3/8 of an inch tall. For the sake of our drawings, we always want to be drawing with that skinny side facing up, facing the camera, facing us, facing our eye. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw a bottom segment all the way along this, just like that. Your lines should be nice and clean, but you don't have to go crazy. Definitely use a straight edge. But you don't have to be a perfectionist outside of that. So there's that. There's our bottom piece, okay? And now we can go in, and obviously I think a top piece makes a lot of sense. You could certainly make your truss shorter than the max 2-inch distance that I've given you. I think you'll see though that you actually don't get much there. There's no real reason to make this that much shorter. The efficiency is just not there. The taller this is, the essentially easier it is to make an efficient bridge or an efficient truss. So I'm gonna go in and I am going to lay out 6 inches in either direction. Why 6 inches? Well, it's kind of arbitrary. It's really just because my ruler is 12 inches long total. So 6 inches here, 6 inches here. You don't have to do that. You can go all the way across, and I'd encourage you to do that. I'm actually intentionally making this bridge a little bit dumb so you guys can do some thought for yourself on what really makes sense to do here. Okay, now that I have that done, I'm gonna start coming in here and I'm gonna start laying in some of these angled elements of my bridge project. In order to do that, we need to think about what we're gonna cut this with. While I am here, you are not to be using any power tools, sanders, saws, any of that jazz. We are using these guys. We'll also have some sandpaper blocks around, so if you wanna fine tune an angle, you can. But this really does actually quite a bit and is a pretty great tool. So what you can do is you take your piece of wood, you insert it in here. There's a 90-degree line right at the bottom. Use that 90-degree line, pull the trigger, it'll make the cut. And again, you shouldn't be cutting these yet. I'm just showing you the angle options we have. So if we look here, we have 45, 60, 75, 90, which is, you know, the regular old straight cut, 105, 120, and 135. Generally, I would avoid looking at these top numbers. I would just stick to 75, 60, and 45, okay? 45 is definitely the easiest because the resultant of a 45-degree angle is a 45-degree angle. That means this cut and this cut are both 45-degree angles. It's important to remember with a 60 or a 75-degree cut, that will not be the case. Okay, so I've made my cut there. I'm gonna come in. I'm going to position my piece of wood where I would like it to go and start kind of thinking about how we're gonna put this together. So if I pop this guy in here, you can see the neat thing about 45s are it hits all those dots evenly all the way across. That's just how 45-degree angles work. I can go in, I can lay out this piece. If you want a little scrap piece of wood to use as a thickness guide, Mr. Pignato will be happy to give you one of those, okay? But he's not gonna give you a whole giant piece of wood, okay? Because we're not building it yet, we're designing it first. I do that on this side. I should probably do the smart thing and come over here and repeat the process on this side of the bridge. Hold that guy down. Now a 45-degree angle is certainly a good option. It's easy to lay out, but you can get kind of crazy with stuff as well. If you want to come in here and lay out something crazy like this, you can. The machine, the chopper, is not going to have that angle on there, but there are some tricks you can do. I'm going to rotate my project so I can look kind of this way down the line. Got to slide it up so I'm in frame here, right? And now what if I tried to do something like this? Okay, what I like to do is hold it where it's going to go, make sure everything's happy, and then I can sight down this line and kind of across my project like this. I can start to lay something in like that. That's going to be trickier to cut. It should probably still be possible. You might require a little bit of sanding. I'm gonna come over here. Oh man, I'm really reaching out there. See how far a piece of wood is from the back of the cutter? That's gonna make it much harder to cut. You'll probably have better success flipping around and cutting more like this, okay? So some of these wacky angles like this are possible. You can do them. So let's go ahead and lay that out. I'm gonna do a piece of wood that goes from here, clear to here. And it's gonna be a 1/4 inch thick. Again, you can eyeball the 1/4 inch, you can measure the 1/4 inch, or you can use one of these to lay it out. Either will work. The straight edge is nice just because it provides you a cleaner line. So something like that, okay? Cutting those angles can be tricky, but is certainly possible. So go ahead, design out one truss, design out a second truss, design out a third truss. Once you have all your trusses laid out and designed for, okay, I want you to take a picture and upload this to Schoology. Make sure you fill out your name, information blanks, all this stuff. But most importantly, come in here and fill out this section that says what truss you're planning on building. In this case, I'm building truss A. So I'm gonna put A in there, take a picture of this, ka-ching, upload it to Schoology for me. As you can see right here, I'm expecting that to be uploaded by May the 10th, okay? May the 11th, May the 12th, May the 13th, I'll be putting those in the gradebook, okay? So if you get a fat goose egg because you didn't upload anything to Schoology, you'll know why, right? It's because you failed to do this and get this uploaded. Please do that, please get it in on time. Again, just prevents any drama where you get a 0 in the book, you know, I know what the goal is, okay? So that's gonna be it for this video. The next video is gonna be all about actually building our truss. So stay tuned for that one when you're ready for it.